Hello everyone! Today I'm going to be showing you how to make and style these 3 toggle switches. As you can see, we have this Glassmorphic one, an on-off one that goes grey, and this cute line slider, I'll call it. So let's get into it. I'm using Scrimba and I'll share the link to my project down below so you can check it out. So first up, we need the HTML, and to make these toggles, I've used inputs with a type of checkbox. And the reason for this is that checkbox inputs have a pseudo class selector called checked, and this allows you to switch the styles between one side and the other. And I'm going to give them all a class of toggle that will allow me to give them the base styles, and then each one will have an identifier class. So this one I'll just call glass toggle. And they also need an ID, and I'm going to match the IDs to the class name. And don't forget that input tags don't close. To add the styling, we need to use a label, and to link the labels to the right input, we need to use the for attribute. But the label tags do close, so just remember that. And then we need 3 of those. And then we just need to switch out the class names and the IDs. So I'm going to call this one on-off toggle and this one line toggle. So switch this and this. So that's all the HTML we need. But as you can see, that's not quite what we want. So we'll head over to the CSS and style it now. First thing I'm going to do is actually hide the checkboxes. And to do that, we do input type equals checkbox, and then give it a height and width of 0 and visibility hidden. No more checkboxes. The part of the toggle switches that you see is actually the label. So let's get started with styling those. We do label, a width of 50 pixels, a height of 30 pixels. I'll just put in a background color so you can see what I'm doing. Let's go with my all-time favorite, hot pink. So that's them there currently. Now to make the rounded effect, we do border, radius, 15 pixels. And to allow us to create the moving part on top of it, we need to do position relative. And then I'll spread them out a bit with a margin of 0.5 ems and a cursor pointer, so the user knows that they can interact with it. So that's our basic background styles for the toggles. We now need to create the small moving balls. And to do that, we use the after pseudo element on the label. So label after, it has no content. We need position absolute, a width of 24 pixels and the same height. And because it's a circle, we need border radius 50%. And I'll add a background color so you can see what's going on. So you can see our circles have appeared, but they're not quite in the right place. So to fix that, we do top, let's try 3 pixels, that looks about right. And then I want them to start on the right hand side. So I'll do left, see what 22 pixels looks like. Pretty good. Now when we move these circles, if we don't add a transition, they'll just flick across. But if we add a transition of, let's say, half a second, they will slide across nice and gently, like this. So just to show you the difference, this is without the transition, and then with the transition, nice and smooth. So these are the base styles of the toggles. Now let's add our custom styles so that they all look different. And I'll start off with this glass one. So we first need to change the background. So that'll be glass toggle plus label. And then I have a linear gradient, which is at a 90-degree angle, and it consists of 3 blue colors, which I'll pop in there. So now you see we have our nice gradient on there. I will also add a backup plain color background, just in case that gradient doesn't load. And that can just be any one of these colors. I'll go for that one. So now, just to show you something goes wrong here, we've still got a nice color on there. So now we need to make the glass circle. And to do that, we need dot glass toggle plus label and then after. So this is targeting the after pseudo element of the label, which is on glass toggle and none of the others. Now we need a background color first of all, and I'm going to use RGBA for this, because then what I can do is select it to white, so that's 255, 255, 255, and then I can set the opacity, so 0.6. So that's already starting to look quite cool, but it's not really the glass effect we want. To do that, I used a Glassmorphism CSS generator, which I'll link to down below. So you can play around with these values here, and you see it's changing this element, and then you can find the look you're going for and just copy and paste that in. It actually also includes the background color here, so you don't even need to worry about that. A really good tool. I will copy in the styles I've used. We've got a box shadow on there. It's a very subtle difference, but it does look nice and crisp when you add that. And then a blur, backdrop filter, a tiny border, which again just adds to the crispness. And then, very important, the box sizing border box. If you don't have this, what's going to happen is the border you've added will be added on top of the size you've set, which will then make it too big. If you add box sizing border box, it includes the border into the size of the after pseudo element, so then it's the size you originally intended. So that's looking great, but we also want it to move, of course. And to do that is very simple. You just do glass toggle checked, target the after pseudo element on the label, and then you do transform, translate, and then minus, let's try 18 pixels. So you can see that is in the right position and it moves across just as we intended. Lovely. Now let's move on to our pink on and off one. So the first thing we need to do is set the background color. So we do on, off, toggle, target the label, and then background color of hot pink. So that doesn't change anything at the moment because that's actually the color I set in the generic settings. If I turn that off, you'll see it stays pink. Now let's set the color of the circle. So we need on-off toggle plus label, and then after, and we'll give that a background color of FFF. And I can now remove the background color from my generic classes as well. So when this toggle is clicked, you'll see the background color changes to a dark gray. So let's set that. Just copy this. But we also need to add checked. And that's a background color of dark gray. And the circle is a light gray. So let's check this, copy this, and then add after, and this is light gray. So you see we now have our toggle switching from pink to grey. And then to move the circle, once again, we just do transform, translate, and minus 18 pixels. Let's give that a go. Fantastic. It's moving from side to side. So lastly, let's make our little line toggle. So this one is a little bit different to the others. For the background, we need a very tiny height, so give it 1 pixel, and a border of, let's say, 5 pixels, solid, dark cyan. And then, just to move it down slightly, I'll give it a top of 12 pixels. So now to style the circle, so I'll add a background, which is a linear gradient, once again 90 degrees. I've chosen this nice dark blue colour, 007 2v5, and to tie it all together, the nice dark cyan we selected earlier. And there it is, there, looking lovely, but wrongly positioned. We'll sort that out in a minute. In the meantime, I'll also add a background backup colour, and I'll give that one dark cyan as well. And to position it in the correct place, we'll give it a negative top. Looking great. And then lastly, we just need to move it across when we click it. So that's line toggle, once again, checked, and then label, after, and then the transform, translate, minus 30 pixels. That might be a little bit too far, so I'll just reduce it to 27. And I think that's just about bang on. So there we have it. 3 separate toggle switches that you can use in any project you like, and you can customize them. If you're looking for some inspiration, you could check out CodePen. So they have plenty of nice toggles you can take a look at and get inspiration from. And there's also Free Front End, which has this lovely article with so many different toggles. Some of them are really, really cool. And I will link to both those resources down below. That's it for this Toggle-tastic video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what type of video you want to see next. I'll see you next time.